Hi everyone, I'm Stephen Anthony Johnson II, they, them. I am a draftsperson, a storyteller, a hymn historian, and a oral teller based out of Brooklyn. This body of work that's currently in the studio right now is the culmination of a very long process that maybe spans, I would guess, maybe 10 years in total, of trying to find ways of preserving what little history was available in my family. We have this one portrait, one of the larger portraits I've done of my mother at the very beginning of spring and into summer, and that's sort of this gaze of hers that she had during Easter of, I think it was 95 and 96. This was the summer church dress that my mother used to wear, especially when it was hot. I think this was unseasonably hot. There's something about the gaze in my mother's eyes that very so much so is so emblematic, I think, of just a sort of like an overall attitude. This sort of like counter run sense of spring is supposed to be this time of renewal, of rebirth, of the trees are coming back, flowers are blooming, and to sort of juxtapose it with like this newer drawing that I did while I was here at Velvetpark of the last drawing that I'm probably going to do of my nephew for the next several years. It's that same sort of vacancy in the eye. So for this very specific installation that I've been working on over the course of the last couple of months, it's based off the idea of sort of like summertime melancholia, where the most remembrance and the most mourning oftentimes happens during the summer, where people are inside or oftentimes associated with great bouts of adventure, schools out, and all those things. So this was done when I was home, like literally sitting in front of my mother and my nephew. This is what the drawings typically look like before they start being worked up. The beautiful thing about most of these drawings is that they were done when I was home taking care of my mom, so I had the availability to just see these a lot. So there's a 3-part process. There's the drawing that's done in the moment, if I can do them in the moment, and it takes forever, and sometimes it's really slow. But then there is, if I have an opportunity to see it often enough, I'll try to surreptitiously like take small photos. My first full-time appointment at RISD, so I'll be there 3 days a week. I'll be teaching full-time for a year, but potentially there are 2 shows that may be happening, one in California and one in Baltimore at the first of the year. One is being curated by a good friend of mine, and the other one is going to be curated by my first painting instructor, Nicole Buckingham-Kern. I'm looking forward to possibly trying to host some story circles. I've gotten some tentative yeses for some of the people that I've been collecting stories from to actually come and do a meal and a round table about sharing their stories, especially talking about Reagan's effect on the AIDS crisis and its long-lasting sort of linger and how it has affected STI research, especially research for AIDS and HIV. But October to November is mostly going to be me trying to solidify, just ideas and venues for more deep listening sessions, just because there's very little cross-generational dialogue that's happening outside of keyboard discourse oftentimes, I feel like, these days. Well, and I feel like when we talk about cross-generational stewardship, it's never about the comfort of the generation that's inheriting the stories. We have to make space and accommodate for those who are bestowing the stories to us, on us. And that gets really tricky. It gets extremely tricky. We're all living concurrently, but we're all living in different worlds. And sometimes multiple truths have to find a way to compromise and make space for each other.